Well, first of all, Vinny was a legend in Rhode Island. I was a high school basketball player amongst some other sports, so played college basketball locally, so everybody knew Vin Cullen. So that was kind of my first acquaintance, and then there was a job, the Flanagan campus had just opened, and I was privileged enough to interview for that job. That's kind of how we met.
I met Vin in 1977 when I first came to Rhode Island, and he was part of this Rhode Island basketball fraternity, PCURI. There seemed to be a great level, a high level of basketball played in the state, and I became aware of him right away because of the success that Vin was having.
Back in 1966, we were both teaching in the teaching basketball in the Cranston Recreation on Saturday afternoons, Saturday mornings. And he had asked me if I had my master's degree, and I had said yes. He knew about my basketball background, and he indicated that why don't I apply to Rhode Island Junior College.
His CCRI colleagues were a second family.
And we would host the regional championship in Warwick, and we would have 2,200 people there each night of the weekend. That took a lot of work. We don't have the staff we had, but Vinny built this family type thing.
They would do all kinds of things together outside of work. They would meet up to go jog with the night crawlers, I think it was called.
The wives wouldn't think anything of baking pastries for the tournament.
And they would meet up and they'd go to beaches and have parties. There was always outside activities going on that everybody was included in. They really did become like a second family to each other.
Years ago, I know in the Journal they used to have the cartoonist Frank Lanning. One of his drawings, it was the CCRI family.
Vinny did those things. He'd have a picture of the athletic family and pictures of everybody to promote that familyness.
Showed a lot of the coaches and stuff from the athletic department together in one picture as a family. So I know he had that feeling.
People weren't afraid to pitch in, get down and dirty, and do whatever it took, and that came from the top.
He helped build this program from the ground up. In 1965, he took a junior college that I think was just beginning to find itself, and he turned the athletic program into a model.
He is a student of the game, and I tell a story just to tell you how much he loved the game. My family and I, we go in the summer once in a while to Crazy Burger down in Narragansett, and at night they have a basketball court next door. So you'll go there and they'll be a half hour away, and I'll always take my son and let's go over and watch the basketball game. Then I go over there and there's Vinny Cullen sitting in the stands watching a basketball game.
He knew just about everybody on the basketball scene.
Vin would bring in Dave Gavitt. He would bring in some of the PC players to do clinics with his players. He was always talking with Dave, and he was talking with other coaches, Al Skinner. He would talk with them about strategy.
And he actually brought Bobby Knight and Krzyzewski from Duke to this campus to give a clinic.
He loved to improve himself and his own awareness of the game, and I think he had something to share with them too.
One particular thing was probably the most valuable we received from any of those coaches was Joe Mulaney's combination defense. Vinny asked him, how long does this take? He says, well, by the time my ball players are juniors, they have the system down. Vin says, we don't have any juniors. We worked at it, and did we succeed as good as Joe Mulaney? No. Were our kids confused often? Surely. But you know what? If our kids were confused, so wasn't the other team we were playing against.
The basketball coaching success speaks for itself. 711 wins, the most wins in New England. It's behind the scenes that really spoke to me. The man is a wonderful human being.
Vinny will do anything for anybody. He has the heart, bigger than our basketball facility upstairs.
I watched him take kids that didn't have the same opportunities that a lot of kids had to play basketball at a high level, or they didn't have the financial help to be able to get to places. They'd come to CCRI.
That same thing that he would do for you, for me, he especially did for his players.
And he molded them into a team that had great success, and year after year, make the nationals.
Outstanding math professor, and he asked me once, he said, hey, can you're pretty good at math, can you sub for me one night? I gotta go somewhere. You're not even gonna have to teach, I'm gonna give a test and whatever. So I proctor the test, I give out the test, I explain everything he told me, and all of a sudden a young woman comes up to me and she goes, listen, can you do me a favor? Can you tell me if questions 8, 9, and 10 are right? I said, no, I can't tell you that. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, she goes, you don't know anything about math? I said, no, I can't tell you the answers. And she goes, well, Professor Cullen would always give me a hint. He knew she didn't have that confidence. She was a little bit older and needed, for whatever reason, a boost. I think she graduated with CCRI and like high on it. So she didn't need the answers, but that was his way. And you know, a little piece they'll tell you about how great a professor he was. He knew how to get them going and motivate them like he did his basketball players. Vinny has not only mentored me, again, we've shared weddings and funerals, and definitely started off as a superior to a subordinate, but let me have the reins and gave me a lot of flexibility. And I think really by doing that, I was allowed to develop my leadership and management skills, and totally due to his leadership.
We're in Florida, and all the kids are in the water. He comes running down the beach, you know, get out of the water, get out of the water. He's pointing over, and you see the fins going up and down and coming, and everyone knew they were dolphins. But my father, I guess he was having a little heart attack with the kids in the water with the sharks with the blowholes. We're down in Florida, the whole family there. We had driven down. There was a hurricane coming. We just got the hotel room, and then the local news had stopped him, and they were telling him, you know, if you worried about the storm or anything, and the whole, you know, no, I'm not worried. I've been through this hurricane and that hurricane, all that. And we stayed and we watched the news that night, and just to see him on the news. And then right after that, we packed up the car and left after not being worried about it. But we stayed long enough to see him on the news, though.
Congratulations, Dad, on another Hall of Fame induction, especially one here at the school. And it's great that you get to go in with 2 people from the athletic department.
Vin, congratulations for a fantastic career, for what you've built here at CCRI. You're a man I greatly respect, and I thank you for building men that have made our community much better.